thanks the guest speaker guy that gets speaker's roast, and today we're going to be having Brent Stewart. Speaker guy. Yeah, I'm the speaker guy.
Speaker guy.
I'm the speaker guy, that's what I was going to say. But yeah, Brent Stewart is here from Stewart's Gym store, and his family has been doing this for a long, long time. We'll let him explain a little bit more about that and come back up. I think he ran away with someone's drink back there.
Yeah.
You know, those gym guys, you know, take people's drinks. All right, guys. Well, here's Brent. Let's give him the mic. Everyone give him a warm welcome.
So yeah, I'm just screwing up left and right here. I love raffles. So I got hold a little bit closer. A little bit closer. Yeah. So now you're gonna film me, and I'm on Mr. Microphone. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I'm screwing up left and right. I love raffles. I usually do pretty good at them, so I'm back there buying my tickets, and plus it's how you guys get most of your money. So he gives me my raffle tickets, and I'm breaking them off with my little special band on them. He goes, whoa, 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 wait, we already put your tickets in there, so we got it all figured out here. And then I tried to steal someone's drink. So, I'm with Stewart's Gym Shop, and we've been in business 78 years. We were the first rock shop west of Mississippi in 1945, and we think we might be the oldest in the country, still going in the same family name. I hold my age well, don't I? No. So when it comes to rocks and gyms in this state, we are the gym state. My grandfather pioneered, discovered, and named quite a few of them. So I'm also with the Idaho Gym Club. We've been around since the 30s. My grandfather was the 4th president. In 1942, my dad's a past president, I'm a past president. We have a workshop in my garage where we teach people how to cut stones. You have access to rock saws, all that sort of thing. So one of the ways that I like to give back to the community is going doing presentations at schools. I go up to Lewiston for their rendezvous. I used to do the rendezvous just down the street here in Meridian where they bus in 3,500 kids, but I think since COVID, and then the guy, Jock Summers, who was ramrodding that, he stepped down, so they don't have it there anymore. But do presentations all over the Treasure Valley, all the way from kindergarten to nursing homes. Told you a little bit about the club, a little bit of fun factoid. With our family, my great-grandfather was the first person to drive an automobile from Wheaton, Idaho, up the meadows over the railroad tracks. If you go up to Warren Wagon Road, up out of McCall, and just before the Bergdorf Hot Springs turnoff is Lake Josephine, that was named after my great-grandmother. And we have a Star Sapphire claim up on Brundage Mountain on Goose Creek. And my great-grandfather turned down a bunch of lakefront property in McCall for a team of horses and a wagon that he had. We were all kicking our trike with dirt. So that kind of tells a little bit about me, my family. I see Todd Jackson back there. He's been a member of our club for a while now. Yeah, you know, I think that I've done presentations for the Idaho Gold Prospectors Association. I think rocks and gold go hand in hand. I think you guys are a little bit different as far as, you know, you guys are finding all sorts of stuff. There's a guy I know named Frank Maisley, and he did some detecting over there in Sumter and found a big nugget about the size of my thumb. And he was on the cover of, I don't know what the name of that magazine, Best Finds in the Country or something like that one year. So, yeah. So like I say, when it comes to rocks and gyms in the state, my grandfather pioneered, discovered, and named quite a few of them. Here we have just like a little cutout of the shape of Idaho, kind of showing you where some of the different gym locations are at. See if I can pull this off here. So over in the eastern part of our state, we find jade, black jade. It comes from Bitch Creek. We also find Idaho opal as well. A place called Spencer, Idaho. Spencer, Idaho. If you ever drive through Idaho Falls on your way up to Montana, you'll see a little sign on the side of the street, side of the road, that says Spencer, Idaho, opal capital of the United States. And I don't know what best way for me to do this here would be to just walk around. Yeah.
This is what.
Idaho opal. Spencer, Idaho opal. Well,
You want me to do that for you when you talking?
that'd be cool. I'd appreciate it. I knew
There's always that
I knew I'd have a bump here. All right, so we have him doing that. Back to this. I just need someone to hold the microphone now, huh? So, Spencer, Idaho is over here in the eastern part of our state, up here in this little corner.
Here, I'll hold the microphone for you. What do you want me to hold?
Just hold this.
Hold that.
There we go. You guys are so accommodating. So then we have moss agate. Moss agate comes from around Cary, Idaho. Calcite. Find calcite here in our state. Moonstone. Moonstone comes from the Moonstone Ranch. If you guys are ever going up to some valley through Fairfield, look for a little sign on your right-hand side that says Moonstone Ranch. And it's the Moonstone Hills and back to the Moonstone Ranch where you find moonstones. Makes sense, don't it? We find jasper here in our state. Smoky quartz. Smoky quartz comes from a place called Dismal Swamp. Okay? When I do presentations at schools, I go to the kids, who wants to go camping at Dismal Swamp, you know? I usually think of a swamp with stinking water, alligators, snakes, and stuff like that, but there's this bad horsefly at certain times of year. So here's some smoky quartz. We find smoky quartz in several locations in our state, around Sweetenola, up around Lolo Pass, on the Idaho-Montana border. So, Bruno jasper, very famous jasper, comes from the Bruno Canyon. I have one over there. Here's some over here in these panels that it comes in a thunder egg or a nodule, and then you take and you cut that and you can make slabs, and put into jewelry. We've got obsidian. We find obsidian here in our state. You find a lot of obsidian over at Class B over in Oregon. There's glass flows that are like 9 feet thick in some places. Petrified wood. We find a lot of petrified wood here in our state. Queenstone jasper. That is the Idaho Gym Club claim. Oh, also our club has 10 claims. So. And then the Whiteheat Club, they have 10 claims as well. Graveyard Point plume agate, that's plume agate. Beacon Hill nodules, our club has a claim there out of Leeser. Willow Creek jasper. Willow Creek jasper is a pretty famous jasper. Rhodonite. Rhodonite comes from around New Meadows area. And way up here in our panhandle is where we find our state gemstone. Thank you. So what happened to our assistant? Oh, you're not done. Okay. Yeah, better you than me. Okay. So just
Yeah, better than me.
right?
Yeah.
So shine a light at it, okay?
Start.
Start on it. So, it was in 1951 that my grandfather pioneered and discovered the Idaho star garnet. And then in the late 60s, he had it lobbied through legislation to become our state stone. 2 places in the world is found, Idaho and India, and it's more rare than a star sapphire or a star ruby. Now, you can find garnets in every stream grade in the state of Idaho. And you can go up to the Salmon River, there's a place called Ruby Rapids. Those aren't rubies, those are garnets. It's just when they named it, they thought of a red stone and they knew rubies, so they called it Ruby Rapids. Where the star garnets come from is a place called Emerald Creek. There are no emeralds up there, but there's a lot of garnets. So much so that they they used to ship them out by the train car load full, and they make abrasives out of them, water filtration with those garnets. They come from up there, but it's kind of a shame that they take some of the best grade garnet in the world and they crush it up and make abrasives out of it. So that is our specialty. We do all the cutting in the store, yes.
Do they still allow people to dig up there at Emerald Creek?
Yes, they do. They're making it harder and harder for you to go up and dig. And what I mean by that is they had COVID, and then they closed it for a year because they said they're going to punch a new road in for a new spot to get more material. But now you have to sign up online, and then they only let you dig for 3 hours, and then you are only now allowed to take, it's either a pound or 2 pounds. It used to be, they would let 100 people go up there during the daytime. You could go up there, you know, every day of the week when it was open, you know. So they're really, you know, to me, they're making it so discouraging that it makes a person, you know, not really want to do it, you know. But you can find some good stuff. Before COVID, there was a couple that went up there, and they went up there the opening day. Now you can't dig in the bank anymore. Around the early 90s, I was able to dig there one time, and I just wanted to do it because that's where my grandfather found all his good 6-ray material. I got other places that I can go dig, but you can't get a ticket. So I don't do that anymore. Plus it's under a lease. But what they do is they take and they scoop it up, and then they dump it, and then they supply all the material and the screens and whatnot. They have these 2 big troughs that you can pick the garnets out from. But when they were pulling the material out of the old location, these people went up there for the opening day, and they brought in their stones, and I said, I can cut $3,000 worth of stones from these 3 pieces that you have. They were their best 3 that they had. But that's back when they were, you know, you get good material. Now everything that comes out, the pieces are bigger, but they're only going to be a 4-ray. They're not going to be a 6-ray. Now with the star garnets, the one that you guys just saw is a 6-ray. There's also a 4-ray that's, you know, one of the legs is missing, so you only have the 4 rays. And so the 6-ray is more rare than the 4. My grandfather made 2 bead necklaces, the only 2 in the world. One was a 4-ray and one was a 6-ray. The 4-ray is on the December issue of Rock and Jim. Or no, I mean, Lapidary Journal, excuse me. December issue of 1966, I believe. So that is the Idaho Star Garnet. So there are a few things that were not on that little cutout of Idaho. And what I will do is I will briefly tell you about these, and then my assistant over there. No, just a second. Hold on, just a second. Does this thing work?
It's not very loud.
It's not very
It's not
loud?
very loud. No, it's not working.
Bring the mic.
I hear you doing that.
Switch out the mics.
Fred, we could also have everyone come up afterwards if you don't want to pass these around to make it easier.
That doesn't matter to me.
Okay. Or you can always, you need some exercise, so we'll have to go around. Yeah.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Yeah. All right. Okay, good. So, on here, we have the star garnet right here. We have amethyst. One of the reasons why I bring up a piece of amethyst and put it there, because it's a good example. It didn't come from Idaho, but it makes good for a presentation. Black tourmaline. Find black tourmaline here in our state. Star sapphires from up on Brendan's Mount Napa Call. Blue opal. It's a common opal, generally found in thunder eggs. The facet gray garnet. That's what my grandfather was going to look for the garnets when he is a faceter. Faceting just means on how you cut the stone, kind of like a diamond or an emerald. Those are done on a faceting machine. So that's what he was up there looking for. And when he brought the garnets back down to Boise, he was looking at them, and he noticed that they were opaque. So what he did was he capped them over and found out that they had an asterism, and so, you know, until they knew that there was garnets up there, but they didn't know that they starred until he started messing around with them. Aquamarine, you find aquamarine up in the Sawtooth. You can also find that along Lolo Pass on the Idaho-Montana border, and you can find some out of Sweet Nola. White quartz, you have a white quartz that's faceted there. Lemon yellow opal. Lemon yellow opal comes from yellow pine. Kind of a coincidence that yellow pine, you get lemon yellow opal and it's on Big Creek. There, in the primitive area. Topaz. Got topaz right here. You find topaz in the same place that you find your smoky quartz. And where's that at? Dismal Swamp. Good job. There's going to be a test on this. Okay, so you find the topaz up there at Dismal Swamp. So it's kind of a twofer, you know. You're going up there looking for smoky quartz, you'll also find topaz. Here's another smoky quartz. These are just faceted. These have been cut. You have your Bruno jasper. It's been cut into a cabochon. Right there. Here's another Spitzer Idaho opal. That's being cut into a stone right there. Plume agate, Graveyard Point plume agate. I'll be telling you about that here in just a second. And your Willow Creek jasper. And your moss agates and saginite that comes from around Cary, Idaho. So there's that. I want to take these around. I will give you my flashlight. There you go. Now let me tell you, one of the reasons why Idaho has, like the Owyhees is one of the most rock-rich regions in the whole United States. And the reason for that is there was a caldera that started in McDermott, Nevada. Through plate tectonics and went through the Owyhees. The Owyhees is the youngest mountain range in the United States. And so it went along the Idaho-Nevada border. And then it kicked up towards Twin Falls. If you are in the Twin Falls area and you see those like little rock outcroppings on the side of the freeway, that was hot magma earth coming up and then splitting from that caldera underneath it. And that's what created craters of the moon. And then that caldera is now underneath the Yellowstone caldera. And so you have all that ash and volcanism, and that's what created a lot of these agates and jaspers that we have here in Idaho. So my grandfather named and discovered this. Originally he called it Idaho plume. This comes from in between Marsing and Homedale. And when they put the barbed wire fence up for the state line, he realized he's in Oregon about a mile, so he changed the name to Graveyard Point plume agate instead of Idaho plume. So when I was in 4th grade, my dad was actively mining this. My grandfather passed away in 74. I was born in 69, so I never got to know him, just what I hear from stories. But I've got a lot of old pictures of him digging and whatnot. So when I was in 4th grade, my dad would pull me out of school, and I got the license to use on the dynamite and chase lizards and shoot 22s. And I used to say fun boy things to do, but when I was at the rendezvous just down the street here in Meridian, some girls said that they'd like to do that too. So I guess it's fun for the whole family. And then there'd be parents there, and I joke around to them saying nowadays parents would probably be thrown in jail for child endangerment if they found out the kids would light the fuse on the dynamite, you know. So there's that. So Morrisonite jasper. Morrisonite jasper is considered to be the king of all jaspers. That comes from along the Owyhee River. Does anyone know where Birch Creek is? Birch Creek? Yep, there's a historic Birch Creek ranch down there. It's kind of by Jordan Craters. If you ever go to Jordan Craters, right before, about 10 miles before Jordan Valley, go out to Jordan Craters and you'll see a 14-million-year-old volcano. You're driving along, and then all of a sudden you see this black out there, and it's a huge lava field from where this 14-million-year-old volcano blew, and you can drive right up to the volcano. Pretty cool. So the historic Birch Creek Ranch, there was a guy named James Morrison who lived off the land down there. His rock house is still down there. Might be a good place to go detecting. He has a water wheel that he built on the Owyhee River that's still there. And so that's who showed my grandfather the deposit. And so my grandfather named it Morrison Ranch Jasper was the first name for it. And then it's now just become Morrisonite. And it is in a very cool place. It's about 800 feet up off the rim of the canyon, or the bottom of the river floor. There's a huge table rock view sunken way down in there. And when you're up there, this is like a mini Grand Canyon. It is killer. And there's 3 cabins that have been built by the miners there. Tom Caldwell, who used to dig for us, he lived in Marsing. He built one of the cabins. Gene Mueller from the gym shop back in Wisconsin built one of the cabins. You know, it has a dirt roof on it with poles sticking out so it stays cool in the summertime. And then there's an old scout that's it's landlocked, it's broken down, it's going to be there until the wheels fall off or the wheels are off. And then there's another cabin that is way down below at the Christine Marie mine, and there's still jars of pickles in the windowsill down there. So there hasn't been a lot of people that have been down there, and I've always said, you know, if I'm on the lam from the law, then that's where I'm going to go, is down there, because it's very remote.
I'll let the sheriff.
What's that?
I'll let the sheriff.
You'll let the sheriff know? All right. All right. So that's the Morrisonite jasper. It is right here. And like I said, it's considered to be the king of all jaspers. I've been there 5 times, and I've made about $5 grand just on going through stuff in the tailings that they missed. When we used to sell this in the Rock and Gym magazine for 36 cents a pound back in the 60s, the stuff is now stupid expensive, you know. First time I went there, I made $500 just stuff on things. Yes?
Is it public land? Is it a claim? Is it private land? What's the deal on it?
What's the deal on that? Well, so there's I think he's a dentist in Seattle. His name is Stuart Porteous. And he has the claims on it. Gene Mueller used to have the claims on it. Tom Caldwell used to have the claims on it. So it's changed hands over the years. He's never going to do anything with it because if he were to try and mine that now, he would have to haul up everything from the mine. He wouldn't be able to push anything over the edge. And it is hell on these switchbacks to get down there. I mean, you need a 4-wheeler, preferably. I mean, I've heard of some idiots that have taken a 4-wheel drive down there, but, you know, it's about like that road to Bruno Jasper. back in the 70s and 80s, on the worst roads in the state of Idaho. You better have a couple spare tires when you go down there, you know. But everyone, everyone, but every time I've gone down there, I went with Gene Mueller, who used to have the claims. He'll go up there and he'll dig around. The 5 times I've been out there, I've just gone through the tailings, you know. So I can justify it 5 ways to Sunday, you know, that my grandfather named it, I got entitlement issues, whatever, you know. I'm not. We've had a lot of claims over the years, and we let people go on our claims just as long as they don't use dynamite and heavy equipment, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty cool place. It really is. The view when you're up there, you got the White River running down through there. You got the historic Birch Creek Ranch. The Indians used to hide from the cavalry back up in the draw, because before they punched the road in for the Jordan Traders, you had to go all the way over to Rome and then drive in all the way that way. That's the way my grandfather went. So there's that. The White Pitcher Jasper. 3 gentlemen from Nampa, Ralph Fuse and Bruce Marcus and Kenny Gilbert. They're chasing wild horses over by 3 Fingers, if you know where that's out in New Whiteys. At the base of 3 Fingers is where they found this, and they knew my grandfather worked with rocks. So my grandfather went out there, he got some of the material, and started cutting it open, and noticed it looked a lot like the landscape where it came from. This is the king of all pitcher jasper. There's probably over 100 other pitcher jasper deposits out there in New Whiteys, but none of it rivals the original Whitey pitcher jasper. On here, there's some pretty killer ones. You got a squirrel, you got a vase with flowers, a flying saucer. There's a robin pulling a worm out of the ground up there. There's a helicopter picking up Snoopy. Yeah. You got some missiles or feathers coming out there, but most of them are your typical, you got blue skies, mountains. Here you have reflections of the water. This one up here you have an arid desert, you know, kind of a high desert like what we're in now on this one. So they're pretty amazing. Did you see them all looking over at you?
Table, they go, go get it.
Right?
Back to work.
So this little polished rock here, this is just a little polished piece of coprolite. Comes from Utah. Coprolite is fossilized dinosaur poop. I have a huge collection of it, a world-class collection. I have patties that are like this big, and then I also got they're all round. They're about like this size. It'd be kind of like a rabbit or an elk dropping, you know, where they're round. And I've got the big patties, like the cow patty type deals. But that comes from Utah. Back before the bird flu, when I did presentations in school, I would pass it around and then I'd tell the kids what it was, and then you get some reactions. And I'm like, oh, yeah. This is dinosaur bone. This comes from Utah as well. You find a lot of dinosaur coprolite and dinosaur bone in Utah. I like to say that southern Utah was the cat litter box for the dinosaurs. So this is some petrified wood that my grandfather named and discovered. Okay. It's got a pretty colorful name. There's a butte over there in New Whiteys, and last I knew it was Black Rock, and then it went to, from before Black Rock it was Negro Rock, and then you can guess what the name for this is. And there's a butte out there, all your old maps say it, and that's what my grandfather named this, petrified wood. We were doing a show in the 60s in either Oakland or San Francisco, and a colored family walked by the booth and took offense to it rightly so. So the show committee came up and said, Dudley, you're going to have to change the name or remove the material off the table. So I said, well, we'll call it Grassy Mountain. I couldn't imagine having something like that hang these days, especially if you lived on the coast or places you burnt to the ground. But it's the story of it, you know. Most of the old timers that knew of the, know of it as this name, once they're gone, that story's forgotten. Now, I'm in the process of putting together a museum in my basement. I live right next door to where I work, and between my grandfather, my dad, and myself, you have almost 100 years of collecting rocks and gems. I'm a collector. My grandfather, I was tired of having world-class displays sitting in boxes that no one got to enjoy, you know? And so that's what I'm doing. Now people say, what the hell is this doing in your basement? Well, until I can find a permanent place or whatever, or add on to the shop, it's going to be in my basement. Oh, this is a star garnet crystal right here. It is a 12-sided dodecahedron crystal. There's garnet crystals that are 24-sided, that are trapezohedron. I mean, there's a long-dated 3-page. I have a big, huge, well, not big, huge, but I got a panel up on the wall at the shop that shows all the different crystal shapes and whatnot. And they're pretty heavy. They're made up of iron. All right. I think I'm almost done with you. This isn't too, I mean, for the kids and stuff like that, dinosaur stuff and shark's teeth. This is a megalodon shark's tooth. Now, I do have the real ones, and I used to take real ones to my presentations, but I was doing a presentation over at NNU University and for some special needs kids, and there's a concrete floor, and we passed it around, and accidents happen, and there's my dad's tooth. And so I got dropped, and it just broke the little tip off right here, not the tip on the tooth, but right here. So I just epoxied it back on there, and probably a couple years ago I told my dad, you know. It's about like when I put the M80 in the hot tub, and he thought that the pipes got frozen in it. I told him about that one too. That wasn't a couple of years ago. Well, I've got stories. Got a colorful past. So this here is, well, let's do this first. This here is my 50 million year old fossil fish. 50 million years old. I've gone over the quarries and I've dug them with my dad when there's lightning and you're way up in the high country and it's like the light turns blue from the lightning and stuff like that. And we have rock hammers in our hand like lightning rods. Anyway, so this comes from a place called Kimmer, Wyoming. Kimmer, Wyoming is the birthplace of J.C. Penney's. How many of you knew that? Nada? Yep, very first J.C. Penney store was in Kimmer, Wyoming. And these 50 million year old fish. I have seen some of these where you have a bigger fish, and in the belly of the bigger fish is another skeleton of a smaller fish. That's what I have for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And I've also got a poster, and I've also seen where you have a bigger fish, and halfway sticking out of the mouth is another fish skeleton sticking out of his mouth. It's like right in the process of eating it when it either got covered by a flood or it got caught in the fish's throat and killed it. I don't know, but pretty cool. So there have only been 9 documented meteorites that have been found here in the state of Idaho. I'm sure there are more. There was a big meteorite impact on the Idaho-Montana border that not a lot of people know about. Most people think of the meteor impact crater down in Arizona, the Mile of Idaho. That's where this came from, Diablo Canyon or Canyon Diablo. This is made up of nickel and iron. you can see how it has a point right here. This is the trailing edge of the meteorite coming through like this. This one here has been cut and etched on the bottom. This is the only metal known to man that when you do this, it'll come up with some cool pattern on it. It's the only metal known to do that. And that's one of the ways that you can tell it's a meteorite for sure. And you would not believe the people that bring in what they think is a meteorite to our shop. Oh, it's unbelievable. There's a Jerome meteorite that was actually witnessed and it's in the paper, and I know a guy who has a portion of the Jerome meteorite. He probably has a $150,000 collection, $200,000 collection, I'm not sure. And it's usually when people come in and, you know, I've seen enough meteorites, I have a big collection. It was my grandfather's in my basement. I bought them, sold them. So if I'm on the fence of what it is, I'll have him give Steve a call and he'll meet with them and he'll analyze it and stuff like that. But what else?
I think we have time for maybe a couple of questions, if we have a couple of questions.
Absolutely.
Anybody?
Questions? Comments? Concerns?
How much is that meteorite?
How much is the meteorite? Well,
You have to ask you for it.
to buy a meteorite wholesale, they're about $1 a gram.
I'll give you $5.
Give me $5.
Yeah.
I think there might be a little flake that's like, no. So, you know, there's 454 grams a pound. It's about 4 or 5 pounds, something like that. But when they're documented, they're more money. You know, like that one that blew up over Russia 5-6 years ago, something like that. That adds to the value, depending on location. Sometimes adds to the value. But yeah, they're pretty cool.
Does cutting it like that devalue it? More?
I suppose if you wanted a specimen that was
Well, I understand.
yeah, you know, that's a good question. You know,
So a lot of them, there's different grades and types.
Yep.
And the way you type them is by doing that and looking at the crystalline structure is.
Sure.
And depending on what the crystalline structure is, they can be at this value range or this value range.
yeah. You know, and now there's a lot of stony meteorites that I am not knowledgeable on at all. You find a lot of stony meteorites over in Morocco. So, yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
I got a question. So I came to understand that the Bruno Jasper, a long time ago, people used to be able to go get it whenever they want, but you can no longer get it, correct?
Correct. Correct. Now, with that being said, I know a guy in Mountain Home is killing it. He's going over there on the slide because they used to use a lot of dynamite, kind of like with the Morrisonite. And he's finding a lot of killer Bruno Jasper.
You won't give me anything.
And it sells for $100 a pound, easy.
Scream all day.
A lot of these collector agates and jaspers, the prices have gone through the roof. Now, let me tell you that what's exciting is most people, when they go out rock hunting, have been going over to the Idaho-Oregon border for years. And I guess if you go out there now on the weekends, you got side-by-sides and four-wheelers and this, that, and the other. Down towards the Nevada border, I should be telling you guys this. They have found fire agate down there. There's a guy that has a Whiskey Creek jasper that's a lot like the Bruno jasper and the Morrisonite. There's these two guys that came in on the Eclipse with this opal, and I said, well, you better just put a claim on it. Well, that's exactly what they did. They have claims on state endowment land, on federal land, but it's all private down there. You know, I mean, the elk are huge down there. They only let a couple trophy tags a year out of that area. But there are stone tools in place down there. There are arrowheads in place down there. I've seen it. I had the chance to, I spent 2 days down there, and I'm still talking about it like it was yesterday. Last year, I spent 2 days down there, and I probably scratched off 4 things on my bucket list, things that I would like to do. And chances are I'd never get to be able to do them, but down there, you know, you get down there and there's not another light for 100 miles on the other side of that Idaho border. So, very remote. Very remote. The people down there, they're called buckaroos. It's weird. It's cool. You know, don't get me wrong. I want to spend some more time down there, but pretty awesome.
And we'd like to spend some more time with you, but we have some raffles to do.
We do?
Some lines to look at. Yeah. So thank you, Brent.